Good morning, everyone. I am Vidya BS, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce and Management. It is my privilege to present the profile of our esteemed speaker at this international conference. It is my great honor to introduce Dr. Balamurugan Balusamy, our distinguished academician, researcher, and global thought leader in the fields of data science, artificial intelligence, and engineering education. Dr. Balusamy currently serves as the professor and chairperson of the School of Engineering and IT at Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Dubai campus. With an illustrious academic career spanning over 15 years, he has held several prestigious positions across renowned institutions. He has previously served as professor and associate dean at Shivnadar Institution of Eminence, Delhi NCR, and has made significant contributions during his tenure at VIT University, Vellore, where he held key roles including professor and director of international relations. He has also been associated with Galgotias University, Greater Noida, and currently serves as an adjunct professor at Taylor University, Malaysia. A globally recognized researcher, Dr. Balusamy has been listed among the top 2% scientists worldwide in 2023 by Stanford University in the domain of data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. His academic achievements are truly remarkable, with over 200 high impact journal publications and more than 200 books authored and edited. He has delivered over 210 talks globally and has actively contributed to organizing international conferences in collaboration with IEEE and ACM. His teaching philosophy emphasizes design thinking and learner centered approaches, inspiring innovation and critical thinking among students. We are truly honored to have such an eminent personality among us today. With great respect, I now request Dr. Balamurugan Balusamy to kindly take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Very good morning, one and all. Am I audible? Perfect.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir, you are.
Let me share the slide and we can start it. So very good morning once again. So I wanted to say I'm going to talk upon a very important topic. It's a very nationally acclaimed topic and everybody is talking about it. That is quantum computing. So what I'm going to do today is within the half an hour that is given to me, I'm going to talk about what is quantum computing and how it is related to high performance computing and how we can achieve something called sustainable quantum AI. That's what I'm going to talk upon. So in that, I'm going to specifically talk upon industrial digital twins. So we all know that we are in the era of artificial intelligence, and I want to emphasize the purpose of keynote address. So if you take any conferences or if you take any symposium, there will be multiple keynote addresses. The main purpose of keynote address is that somebody, if they want to know about the future and work towards it, they have to listen to keynote addresses. So in this keynote address also, I have designed a talk which is very futuristic. So students and faculty members who are very keen in working something related to the future can listen to my keynote address. So as you already know, like there have been a lot of news that many of the states of India and many of the countries in the world are investing heavily on quantum computing. Okay. So, like we have a lot of technologies coming up. Like initially we had web technologies, it has completely come up. Then we had internet check technologies, it has gone into a peak. And then we got telecommunication technologies, like we saw like how 3G came, 4G came, 5G, 6G, and it keeps on. And now we have enormous amount of like communication power. Then there was a kind of revolution in computational power. Like you can see, like Nvidia has overtaken all the other companies, including Intel, which we were using for 20 years, almost 2 to 3 decades we were using Intel. Suddenly, a new company which was working for 20 years in research came and they completely took over the market. Now, everywhere you can see GPUs, and we have enormous computing capabilities. And there is another company called AWS that has come, and they are competing with Google, Amazon, and then Microsoft, and they are completely covering up the storage space. So you can see all this are together has come out with a new technology called artificial intelligence, and it is on the peak. And when we talk about artificial intelligence, don't think only about large language model like Gemini or ChatGPT. It is one applications of artificial intelligence. There are multiple several applications of artificial intelligence in several domains. Okay, so now coming to quantum computing, whether quantum computing is going to replace artificial intelligence? No, it is not like that. Artificial intelligence is going on one direction, quantum computing will be is going on another direction. The what we are going to talk today is how this both, which are going on two directions or separate parallel directions, are going to connect, and they are going to enhance completely how things works out. So talking about quantum computing is like, imagine we have a road, we have a rail path, in which road in the road automobile goes, in the rail path train goes. So we are going to have another path, maybe a sea link by in which the cruise goes. So it's a completely different link. So there is no competition of quantum computing with artificial intelligence. That's what I want to say first. In normal classical computing that we are using every day, what we do is we make use of something called bits and bytes. It means like all the information what we are being traveling or that is being transferred is being done by means of bits and bytes, and it takes place by means of zeros and ones. So we have only a small amount of data that can be traveling. We have achieved maximum amount of data with all the technologies I have spoken about. But if you want to enhance what exists, then we have to go for quantum technology. In quantum technology is something that's not new, but this is the time, because as I told about the space, computing power, the transmission power, all has come up. Now it is time for the quantum to wake up. Before 40 to 100 years, already a lot of computing technologies has started to come in terms of quantum. We already had a quantum theory, we already had a quantum physics, we already had quantum computing, which was based upon the implementation of quantum mechanics. And then all together we have this quantum information science. So what are the main constituents of this quantum information science is quantum sensing, quantum networking, quantum computing, quantum simulation, quantum cryptography. So what do you mean by quantum sensing? Like where we use sensing in computer science. If we take sensing, we sense maybe the gravity, maybe we sense the weight, we sense the pressure, all by means of IoT. So, but the precision of the IoT devices can be improved a lot by means of bringing quantum computing inside it. So imagine we got an accuracy that we blow air on a sensor, it finds exactly the pressure to the accurate point. That kind of accuracy is needed when we are working on medical field, when we are working on nuclear powers, when we are working on several very critical, unimaginable, precisable, outcome based projects. So that time we can use quantum sensing. So what quantum sensing does is it comes out with a new material. A lot of research are being done in material science nowadays to understand what materials can be used for quantum computing. So how quantum computing works is like by means of understanding the molecules inside a material and the movements of it. So we are going to store some charges on the molecules, or we are going to store some data on the molecules, and according to the behavior of the molecule we are going to do some computation out of it. Normally what we do in classical computer is we will take silicon, which is again a material, and we used to store charges inside it, and each of the charges will be classified as either 0 or 1. in terms of quantum computing, there are a lot of other concepts that pretends to not available in classical computing, like superposition and transposition, all that. At a time, a single charge can take many of like values. It can be multiple ones. Imagine, like, we want to find out a probability in a classical computing, like tossing a coin, like it has only one probability, means zero point 0.5 for head, zero point 0.5 for tails. But in terms of quantum computing, we can find multiple probabilities. Like when I flip the coin up in the air, it can take multiple probabilities in a series of time, like till I when I start flipping, how many times in the air it took head, how many times in the air it took tail. Like that, it can keep on finding out probability. So this is the basic computing concept that we are using for quantum computing. So if you take quantum network, again, it is a great path for us to understand how we can use networking. For example, like if you take quantum sensing, like how we can find the accurate quantum network is used for like networking, like what we don't have in a classical computing. Imagine like the fast, like now you can see like we can have very fast network, fast communication. We are doing all the IoT based applications on the quantum. On the other hand, we are also doing seamless streaming of data, like by means of Apache Kofta and many other frameworks. Like for example, like you are watching like multiple OTT platforms, streaming data coming up very seamlessly, especially in HD, like with all the setup, especially not only in your computer, but not only in your PC, but it also comes in all your other devices. So once the quantum networking comes, it will be even more faster. Imagine at the quantum fast will be something more because it bio-inspiredly does everything. If you There is a proverb that think quantum because the world is working in terms of quantum. Okay. So the third thing what we are going to talk about is quantum cryptography. Like quantum cryptography is already revolutionizing the world, and you can see like a lot of new applications has been come on quantum cryptography, especially like now new algorithms are coming in terms of quantum verifiable algorithms. That's what they say. What do you mean by quantum verifiable algorithms? It means that the algorithm what you have made in terms of cryptography have come out with a verifiable process. Otherwise, what happens? All the existing algorithm, including RSA and all your algorithm that trends in financial services, can be easily overtaken by quantum cryptography because of its fastness. Because once the quantum comes, the way we search data, the way we sort data will be very faster, and it will be helping data analytics in a huge way. Imagine we take a database like an Aadhaar card database, which is something like very large and it's a very big data, or you take a social security number database, or you take a database of human brain. An individual human brain can create so much of data logs which can't be processed in multiple years. But once quantum computing comes, the processing of all the data can be done very easily. It means like we can do what is being done in multiple leap years can be done in 5 to 10 minutes. Already that has been done. You are seeing news of some like process has been done, some data has been processed. So that's just about quantum cryptography. Quantum simulation is something like when I want to create something before really it is to be done, I have to do a simulation of it, then only I'll be able to do it. So talking about the early ideas of this quantum, like we have to understand that like already multiple Hamiltonian models represented by Turing machines have been done long back, somewhere around 1970, 1980s. Okay, you can see people already started like what do you mean by how you can compute by means of quantum, what are the things that can't be computed. Okay, the main challenge about quantum computing is that it will not work in room temperature. So and because for it to work in a different temperature, we have to cool the room to a maximum degree, for example, somewhere around minus 200, minus 400. So it works in certain places. So you can see like Google has its own cloud computing based quantum computers which can be accessed from main cities, and it is placed in something somewhere like Alaska or Iceland. So it is going to be expensive for us to use quantum computer as far as now, but in days to come they are completely enhancing the way quantum computer can be used. In front of you have got certain algorithms which is called a Shor algorithm, which is a very dramatically interesting algorithm, and it just completely changes the way discrete logarithms and factoring is done, which forms the basic of any cryptography. Like when you do encryption and decryption, this forms the base. And you can take the fast quantum mechanical algorithm which is used for database search. So it completely changes the way the database being searched. And imagine like you have a millions of drawer in front of you, and you have opened one drawer and put your mobile phone inside it and closed it. Now you do not know in which of the drawer in your mobile phone is kept. If you go for a classical algorithm, the complexity of the search is very high. It may take multiple days or years for you to search, since there are millions of drawers. But in case of quantum algorithm, it is going to search from different directions. From first one search will start, from last one search will start, middle one search will start, and it means like many computers are working together at one point of time. That gives quantum mechanical algorithm for database search a great edge. So you have something called 1996, Grover came out with an algorithm which is completely proved error free theoretically. Now is the time people are working and solving it. And you can see like this uses a nuclear magnetic resonance technology by which we can do multiple things. And you can see like the experimental implementation of fast quantum searching, since we make use of something called qubits, is very better, and we have already proven factoring algorithms that are resonating us. You can see what are the promises that has been done by quantum computing. Like you can see it has an exponential information storage, so storage will not be a problem at all. So like what we store like nowadays in a very big like cloud computing system can be stored in a small quantum pen drive, which can store up to the whole whatever movies have come out. The whole well can be stored inside it. And maybe that might be the end of OTT platform also, because a lot of changes are coming every day, that something is hit, something is not so hit. So that's how quantum is being seen. There will be great revolution in the upcoming 5 years on quantum computing. So students and faculty who wants to relate their work into quantum computing are going to be successful. The same happened with artificial intelligence before 7 to 10 years. People who took into artificial intelligence are very successful now, because AI has become the buzzword across domains. It's not that quantum computing has to be worked only by computer science faculty members and students. It is like artificial intelligence, and it is common for everyone. It does, what do you mean by common for everyone is like it means it can be used by everyone. Am I audible still?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. Okay, so there are a lot of problems that are called as NP hard problems. What do you mean by NP hard problem is non-probabilistic problem. Okay, so we classify multiple computing science problem into different categories. Okay, so there are certain problems that been kept unsolved for hundreds of years because of not having suitable solutions across it. For example, if somebody wants to understand the human brain, the anatomy, physiology of it, the research has been going for hundreds of years, but they haven't found any computational power to understand and decode the working of brain. Once, at least if we find 10 to 20% of how human brain works, it is going to completely improve the way we are going to treat our mental health. If somebody knows about how a tree works, they will be easily understanding how the small elements inside a plant works, that is going to give them an idea of simulating a similar plant or understanding where the plant, what kind of things the plant needs. Similarly, human body is also not much understand. Though we have CT scan, MRI scan, all that, they can only penetrate to 2 or 3% of human body. But now, after this computing AI has come, we are solving several unsolved problems that has been kept pending for multiple years. On the other hand, after quantum computing has come, we are solving the 100 years problem, 200 years problem that has been kept unsolved, especially in terms of cryptography, especially in terms of medicine, especially in terms of pharmacy. In pharmacy, for finding out a right drug to solve a headache, it takes 15 to 20 years time, because it's a long process. But after artificial intelligence come, we can come out, new companies are coming up with new drugs within 2 to 5 years. Imagine, during the period of pandemic, people came out with a drug within 1 year with the help of artificial intelligence simulations. Similarly, once quantum computing comes, the generic medicine will be out of thing. What do you mean by generic medicine? Like, we have a paracetamol. So if anybody is having a headache, they'll go to a shop, they will ask a paracetamol and pop it. But it's not right. Okay, since India, China, and any other countries are very populous country, we go for generic medicine. But in a very low populated country, they never go for generic medicine. They go for recommended medicine. What do you mean by recommended medicine? Or like, it can be say prescribed medicine. It means like, headaches are of 1,000 types. They will first see what headache the person is having, then accordingly they will be giving him certain kind of tablets or certain kinds of like medicine. So how it is possible to have prescribed medicine for each and every individual for a country which has billions of population? Yeah, it is possible by means of quantum computing. So which has the promises of finding out the headaches, even if it is 1,000 or 2,000 types of headache, it will find out exactly what headache the person who is like put into like test has, because of the fundamental quantum mechanics concept of entanglement. So like, we'll be like able to do something like completely what quantum computing were never put to do. But main challenge is noise. Even a small sound or a small change in weather or temperature will also meddle with the movement of molecules, because inside the atom, inside a molecule atom, it keeps moving from one direction to another direction based upon the metal. For example, if you're using titanium, it moves in a particular way. If you're using gold, it goes in a particular way. Similarly, you will not be able to understand what how the molecule is moved. So our main thing is understanding the behavior and characteristics of a molecule, and accordingly like find out, store some charges, and accordingly find out how it is going to happen. So because of the non understanding of quantum computing completely by the latest scenario, we have quantum error correction techniques which are also playing a vital role. Like, if you take a normal computing, here also we have error correcting codes, but in quantum it is of very high news. Like, you can see here, like how the quantum computing is working in the world. You can see like how we are gaining speed, which is not even near to that of this one. Like how we have bits and bytes and gates, logic gates for classical computing. Here also we have bits, gates, and circuits. We call it as qubits. Like, we have bits and bytes. Qubits is more than two, and we have quantum like we have quantum gates, like we have logic gates in or not, or not nor gates. Like that, we also have quantum gates for it, and we also have quantum circuits and also software which helps us to simulate quantum computing. Though we don't have a facility of quantum computing in our university, we'll be able to do new algorithm creation by means of certain kits that are provided by certain companies. Will see about it. So for example, here you can see how we are taking care of algebraic and numeric theoretical algorithm, and especially this algorithm is for factoring and how we are going to speed up in a super polynomial speed. Okay, so you can read. I'll also give this PPT as and when the lecture over, so it will be useful if you go through it. So, and you can see here, like, what is that quantum promise? Okay, so it is not going to touch upon the problems that can be easily solved by classical computer, but it is going to be like taking up the problem which can't be solved by a classical computer in real time. That's what we are going to work. And you can see any of the algorithm that we take will have complexities. So we are taking into something like which is non-probabilistic, as I already told earlier, and we are going to solve it. So you can see like the amount of speed up we can expect is like exponential speed up, and that can be used for Fourier series. If you take Fourier analysis or probabilistic understanding, or you can take Markov analysis, some related mathematical concepts which forms the basic of any probability. Probability is again used and forms the base of any pattern recognition technique. This can be a face recognition, it can be a fingerprint recognition, or it can be palm recognition or iris recognition. The accuracy of that kind of thing is somewhere around 1998. But once the quantum promise comes, it will be even more better. You can't even imagine there will not be a single error in that. Plus, as I already told, the searches will be more efficient, and then it is going to completely change the way the linear algebra, machine learning, etc. are being used. So you can see some of the examples I've given on quantum Fourier transform. Normally we have a Fourier transform which can be used for any transformation of one data into other forms. Like you can see, artificial intelligence is good in using transformation. For example, we can take you can take normal LLM you're using every day, large language model like Gemini or ChatGPT. What it does is transformation. It can transform any of the different formats into any of the different formats. So once the quantum computing comes, it's the Fourier transform is going to be replaced by means of quantum based Fourier transform, and it will be having a great impact. So you can see like quantum Fourier transform, how it can be done. This is called as quantum circuit, and I will be also just passing through how this can be created. So you can see this is the Shor algorithm, which is a very important algorithm for factorization and discrete logarithms on a quantum computer. So these are polynomial time algorithm, and you can see like this classical algorithm has an execution time of exponential of order of log n to the power of 1 by 3 into log and log of n to 2 to the power of 3. But the Shor algorithm, you can see like the order is of log of n to the power of 3. It does mean we have reduced completely an enormous amount of time. So like most currently this algorithm is being used for RSA public key because it relies on factorization of large integers being difficulty, like very difficultly to do. Okay, so like we can imagine like 2,000 bit number can be factorized by a billion qubit, and you can see again another implementation how the circuit has been formed. This circuit has been formed by means of something called Qiskit, which is from IBM. I'll show that also. This is again is Grover algorithm. It is for searching unsorted database. Usually a normal classical searching algorithm or sorting algorithm will be happening. The search starts after sorting the database, but here you can see completely unsorting of database happens. So you can see uniform superposition of all possible solution is possible, and you can see the order. We are talking here about the computational complexity, space complexity, and time complexity. So these are several applications of Grover's algorithm. One is like finding out the minimum of unsorted list of n digit, which is a quadratic speedup, and determining graph connectivity. So if you take a huge graph and how it is connected, it can explain and understand in a few minutes. And similarly, pattern matching. Again, how we will be matching the pattern of the length. You can see the samples of papers that has been published very recently, somewhere in 2019 and 2016, of quantum recommendation system and quantum inspired classical algorithm for recommendation system. It will make a good read. And you can see there are a lot of languages that are there from different companies. Like you can see, which basically uses the Python language or C++ language, which are considered to be the modern programming language, especially the Python, because most of the students like to learn Python and do a lot of research on it and work towards it. Like you can see, you can program your quantum gates by means of this, and you have examples coming up, like you have a Quizzquit from IBM, you have a Kirk from Google, and you have Ocean SDK from D-Wave, and a Forest SDK from another company. So this, anybody who are interested, they can just download Quizzkit from IBM and start coding. So you can also do certain projects along with that. It can be a faculty or it can be a thing. And talking about publications on quantum computing, whenever a new technology comes, the publication industry welcomes new submissions on that particular keyword. So if you do a lot of work on quantum artificial intelligence, quantum high performance computing, quantum simulation, quantum encryption, or quantum algorithms, your paper is going to get published very sooner. And you are writing a book proposal, again, it's going to get placed. And when you are going for a conference, whenever like you want to do something related to quantum, it's going to work very well. So here you can see like example of using like Python language for importing the Quizzkit and executing certain things. So understanding, like you can see what is the outcome is a circuit. That is something that we are going to understand. Like you can see, we are going to create a circuit and we are going to find out the measurement of in terms of normal thing, and we are going to connect it and map it with classical bytes, and we are going to use something called Quasum simulator, which is part of Quizzkit. Quasum simulator is a simulator and Quizzkit is something we write on top of it. You can see there is something called quantum error correction. Unless this extreme noise is being removed, it will not be really put into use. So they have given an example of quantum error correction. And this is something that is called a slower correcting code, by which the like circuits are there and then it can be used for correcting. So there are a lot of other methods that has been prescribed by people for fault tolerant quantum computing, because the fault is lot, we have to reduce it, then only we'll be able to use topological quantum computing. You can see the quantum simulation. One of the original motivating ideas became quantum computing is to simulate quantum systems. Okay, so quantum, like as I said, nature isn't classical, and if you want to make simulation of nature, you should better make it quantum mechanical. This has been said by Richard in 1981. He's a very great like computing scientist who was working on quantum mechanical computers. So like if you see the early applications, it has gone into conductivity, metamaterials, and high energy physics. So, and you can see like these are certain examples of quantum simulation that is available. So, for example, how a water molecule is trapped into an ion, we're simulating this, and we are completely simulating the beryllium hydroxide molecule, how it works, and then hydrogen using. If you take quantum advantage, so you can see there are multiple. I have already told you that is the supremacy has started, and then you can see multiple unsolved algorithm that has been solved. Okay, so some of this programmable semi superconducting processor is done, and you can see Google is completely investing on quantum computers. So these are the quantum advantage when classically if you are doing something, and supremacily you are doing something by means of quantum processor. What are the difference? You can see. So you can see here, like you can see the types of technologies, like you can use it for sensing, communication, or computing. So this is a new class of digital twin that is coming up. Earlier, what we were doing is we were using digital twin as a concept, R&D and engineering focus, dedicated workstations and servers. Then we came into 3D printing. Then we came into IoT based services. Then now we have mixed reality, which is form of AR, VR, like augmented reality and virtual reality, and then cognitive in AI together. We are going to guide us in interactions, blended human machine collaborations, and autonomous and self-healing. That's what we are doing. So you can see like how this quantum is helping. So like the main like what I want to emphasize in my last 5 minutes is that how I'm connecting high performance computing and quantum computing together. So we have high performance computing, like many of our university are also having NVIDIA laboratories, or we make use of NVIDIA based laboratories, and how this together have a seamless interactions, and how we can use the existing infrastructure. This is one typical quantum computer. It is a huge, like when classical computer came also, it was very huge. It was occupying a complete room, but now we have it in our mobile, the more computing power than that. Similarly, at one point of time, quantum computer may also get into small, and we may be using supercomputing power. Okay, so you can see how we can connect HPC and high performance computing and quantum. You can see how the parameters are being matched, and there are multiple applications I need to talk about. You can see it can be used in manufacturing, it can be used in automotive, it can be used in construction, it can be used in energy, retail, medicine, transportation, healthcare, smart cities, and sports. So you can see what is the trend of research that is happening. This is very important slide for future researchers and those who want to take quantum for their PhD thesis or their master thesis or UG project. You can see a lot of work is being happening on quantum sensors. Already it is being done, and you can see a lot of work is also happening in quantum communications, and a lot of work is also happening in quantum machine learning. So you can see hybrid quantum applications are also happening by means of combination of HPC and quantum, and advanced material research for quantum is also happening. So cloud computing and fault tolerance on the lower side, but still there are 5% of research happening on it. So you can see like how these three combinations, high performance computing, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing are going to play enormous role in upcoming. So as we have enormous amount of data, and which helps in accelerating, and we have an enormous amount of frameworks and libraries which are available in Python and other open source modern languages, which can be easily used for designing complex quantum algorithm. So this reduces the number of iterations that we need to solve using a hybrid classification or classical quantum algorithm. So the one thing what we are going to do is how we are going to use quantum hardware to suppress here before they can occur, and the noise in the quantum computer that can mitigate measurement errors. This is some of the publications that we have done, top publications. Why I'm showing is to that this kind of publication can be done. One of the publication is quantum channel optimization, where we have talked about how we can use machine learning with genetic adaptive strategies for integrating quantum computing. And you can see some of the books that were out from my side is quantum blockchain. It's again a great thing, like that is going to come. Okay, this is the final slide I have. The future applications will be like, it's on like, we can use it for GPS satellites, we can use it for magnetic sensors, and we can easily find electromagnetic field sensors which can be used for all your MRI and scans. ECG can be improved, and materials development that is happening. Every day new materials are coming up, so the material science field is going to take a big leap, and accelerometer and gyroscopes that we are using for navigation, GPS, and autonomous transportation, it's highly going to be benefited. Thank you one and all. Thank you for this opportunity.
We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed keynote speaker, Dr. Balamurugan Balusamy sir, for delivering such an insightful and inspiring address at this international conference. Your expertise, depth of knowledge, and engaging presentation have truly enriched the session and provided valuable perspectives to all the participants. It was indeed an honor to have you with us, sir. Thank you for your gracious presence and contribution. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.